Hello everyone, I've been waiting for this microphone all morning and now I have it. Lovely to see everyone here at Event Tech Live. Dan's going to be demoing Access Loop in a moment, and this is the world's first platform or tool that's dedicated to professional delivery of accessibility to events. Two of the founders, myself, Orla Pearson and Elaine McCarthy, have worked in the accessibility field for about 30 years, 15 years delivering in broadcast captioning, and another 15 years of delivering accessibility to events. And Dan Dexter, who will be presenting shortly, has worked in live events for about 15 years and is a live streaming producer. And it's our experience and our expertise in delivery to events with accessibility that this platform has become a reality. We're basically solving our own problems. Diversity and inclusion is a growing consideration in events and a trend that is definitely set to continue. Why wouldn't you want to include every single person in your event? Access Loop allows you to do that professionally, simply and cost effectively. You'll see there's no need for any hardware or any technicians, and you can be up and running in minutes. I'm going to hand over to Dan now, who will do the demo and show you the platform and its capabilities.
Thanks, Orla. So I'm going to take you on a very quick walkthrough on how to set up and use Access Loop. Access Loop is simple. You have a dashboard where you can see scheduled or active events. To set up a new project, click on the Create New Project button on the dashboard. Fill in the required details, such as the name and time of the event, and select the duration. You can choose whether the project is set up for 720 or 1080p, and then create project. Once in the producer view, you can copy the stream source details to put in your streaming system, such as vMix or OBS. Access Loop is compatible with any system that can stream to an end destination, such as YouTube or Hopin. Below this, you can add the destination details of where you're streaming to. For each destination, you can give a custom name to identify each stream. Adding captioners is easy. Click on the caption drop-down and press Invite Captioner. Input their name and captioning email address. You can invite up to 4 live human captioners per project. Captions are produced by a real person who can write up to 300 words per minute with special keywords. Access Loop is the preferred tool for captioners joining your event because it is simple to join and makes working with other captioning colleagues really easy with intuitive handovers. They will also receive a high-quality audio and video feed of the live stream. Access Loop adds less than half a second of latency to the stream, which means it is the ideal tool to use to bring captions into the room as well as on the stream. The captioner will receive an email invite, and all they need to do is click Join Event button, and they are taken to the Access Loop project. Once the Access Loop project is live, they will be able to see their captions coming out. To hand over to their colleague, the other captioner will request control and a notification will appear at the bottom of the browser. The live captioner can then give control to the next captioner. When the captioner wants to take over again, they press Request Control and they will be given control. Alternatively, they can take control. There are 2 main types of captioning, open captions and closed captions. Closed captions are when the viewer can turn on the captions on and off on their device. This is an example of closed captions. You can see the captions are visible at the bottom of the screen, and in the player, the person watching can turn them on and off by pressing the CC button. Access Loop uses 608, 708 embedded captions, which are compatible with most online video players. Open captions are captions which are always visible to the viewer. This is an example of an event which used open captions and also the sign language feature, which I'll show you next. The process for inviting sign language interpreters is the same as it is for captioners. Simply add their name and email address and they will receive an email invite to Access Loop. You can invite up to 4 sign language interpreters. What sign language interpreters really like about this platform is the ability to do their own handovers and have the control for themselves. When the sign language interpreter receives their email invite, they can click on the Join Event button. This takes them into Access Loop, where they will be able to select their camera and join the backstage area. Here they can see their colleagues. To hand over, they request control to become the live interpreter. The live interpreter can then give control, or they can take control. This is a useful feature which allows an interpreter to take over if there are any issues with the live interpreter. Within this backstage area, they can pause their individual cameras or stop the output to the stream. We have recently released an innovative new feature which allows sign language interpreters to be brought into the room while working remotely. This makes Access Loop a fully hybrid solution for using captions and sign language. This player is simply a web page that can be displayed on a screen in a conference room with just a laptop and a monitor. Alongside this, you can bring in the caption link in the room as a web browser and display this on the screen. Never has it been so easy to have sign language and captions in the room and on your live stream. One of our big features is the ability to send out multi-language caption streams with only one captioner. We have worked with clients to send out over 30 different languages for their global events. This is a really cost-effective but highly accurate way of producing multi-language captions. Again, this is really easy to set up, and when you add each stream destination, as I showed at the start, you select the language which you would like to display on that destination. We're currently working on a new development which will allow you to be able to deliver audio translation streams in the near future. Access Loop can scale the incoming streams to keep the content clear of captions and sign language. You can then add a logo and stream background color to the available space and scaling to tie it all in together. We've recently added the ability to add background images to give your accessible stream a professional finish. You can see how it all ties together without affecting the incoming stream. We've also got the chat box, which we use to keep interpreters and captioners up to date with what's happening in the event. This is particularly useful to let them know when the event is running over. A useful feature to help with the project setup is the Duplicate Project button. Under the Previous Projects tab, you can see completed events, which you can duplicate and choose which elements you would like to keep. This is really useful if you're streaming to a number of destinations and reusing the same destination information. Once the loop has started, you're able to add and delete destinations. This is good if you need to send streams to different destinations throughout the event. We're working on two big features which we are aiming to release in the new year: the language translation channels and also the audio description channels. Audio description is used primarily by people with visual impairments, where the action which is happening on screen and stage is described by a specially trained audio describer. You may have noticed an AD button on your TV remote. This turns audio description on and off on your TV when available. For the first time, it will be easy to add audio description to live events and theatre performances. Audiences can listen on their own devices to the audio description accompanying their event or performance. The language translation channel also works in a similar way, and it will allow you to easily add simultaneous translation to your event, both in the room and on the live stream. SRT files can also be produced after the event. These are timed text files which can be used for post-event closed captions. And finally, I want to tell you about two new features coming very soon, which we're very excited about. We have the Access Loop player, which will allow you to create a bespoke player which you can embed in your website and give your viewers the ability to choose which accessibility they would like to see in a seamless and intuitive way. For example, if you have simultaneous translation, they will be able to select which language they would like to listen to, and if there are any captions, to choose the caption language. We're also now on the final stages of testing AI captions or automatic captions and releasing this functionality in the next 2 weeks. This will allow you to deliver events with captions without needing a human captioner. We would always recommend using a live human captioner where possible, but in some circumstances where budget isn't there or there isn't availability of captioners, this is a very good alternative. So please come to our stand, KS1 in the far corner, to give us your details so we can keep you up to date with future updates and releases. And I'm going to hand back to Orla if anybody's got any questions or any questions.
Thank you very much. Were there any questions on Glitter? Nope. Okay. Do you have a question? Yeah, we'd love to hear you. Do you want to come forward and just speak on the microphone quickly?
Hi, just a quick question. So understanding all the technology here, which is great, and the new releases will be fantastic, and what we're looking for anyway. So that's great to hear. The issue we have is that we have to have rehearsals, and so we need to book these live captioners for the rehearsals. They need to be the same people back for the live event. How are you making your way around this?
I can answer that. Yeah, you need to be working with a really good captioning company, which we happen to have over in that stand there too. That's something we do all the time. We make sure we have the same captioners because the rehearsal is their time to hear the content. And you know, AI captioning is really improving, but scientific stuff, really heavy jargons, conferences, it really does struggle with. So I think letting that captioning company know in advance about those rehearsals, booking out the time, even if you think, and then cancelling it nearer the time. That would be my advice, is if you have a week where you think you have rehearsals, book that in as early as you can, and then you can cancel it out within the cancellation terms. So that would be my advice. That's what we do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Orla and Stan, and thank you very much to everyone who's joined us. Thank you.